I'm Tom Downey. Follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney for some more Cowboys coverage. Let's take it now to the latest Cowboys rumors, and we start at quarterback. Are the Cowboys not going to cut Mike White? I'll give this one 3 stars. I very much believe it. You got to think of what the Cowboys invested in him. They spent a 5th-round pick on a quarterback. That's a clear sign the Cowboys like Mike White. For example, it's a higher pick than what they spent on Cooper Rush. So the Cowboys aren't going to cut Mike White, which I do believe this report from Brian brought us. It means they're probably going to carry 3 quarterbacks. It means Mike White and Cooper Rush, and of course, Dak Prescott will all be on the Cowboys roster. White will compete with Rush to be the Cowboys backup, but I think in year 1, he sits behind Rush, unless Mike White looks really good in the preseason, just like Rush did last year. All right, next rumor is Hurns the Cowboys' #1 wide receiver, and again, I'm going to give this one the 3 stars here, and it just makes sense. Now, maybe a Cole Beasley can take that role early on. Maybe a Michael Gallup earns it later in the year, but as we sit right now after OTAs and minicamp are over, I think Hurns is your top guy at receiver. Now, he's not a true #1. I don't think anyone's going to make that argument right now, but he can be a good receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe not the dynamic guy that we saw Dez Bryant in his prime, but Hurns can contribute to the Cowboys for sure and be a reliable receiver for Dak Prescott. We'll stick with the receivers here. Cole Beasley, could he play on the outside? I'm bumping this one up to 3 stars. It was just 2 last time. We reported in the past that the Cowboys have used Cole all around the field, on the outside and on the inside, and Dak said the same thing this week. He thinks that Beasley will be more of an all-around wide receiver, more than just a slot guy. Now, 87% of Cole's snaps last year came from the slot. And if you're going to put Cole outside more, that means guys like Allen Hurns, a Michael Gallup, a Tavon Austin as well, will get reps at the slot position. I think what the Cowboys will do this year more than other years, they are going to shuffle around those receivers and put them all in different spots and move towards a more positionless wide receiver group as opposed to the X and the Y and so on. But folks, let me know who you think will be the Cowboys' #1 wide receiver. I know some of you guys like Michael Gallup, but as of right now, I'll lean toward Allen Hurns in terms of yards, Cole Beasley in terms of catches, if that's not cheating and a cop-out at all. All right, #4, Ron Parker. Could he come to the Dallas Cowboys? I'm only going to give this the 1 star, and I actually hope it doesn't happen. Now, Parker has been a 4-year starter for the Chiefs before he was released this offseason. I don't find Parker to be all that intriguing. I don't think he's that good of a safety. I thought he benefited in a big way from playing alongside Eric Berry. You took Eric Berry away this year, and Parker struggled even worse than he had in the past. There are better safeties on the free agent market. I am not interested there. I want depth, but I want it to be of a Carr or a Boston or Reed, not a Ron Parker. Speaking of safeties, what about an Earl Thomas trade? ESPN has a trade proposal, which we'll get to here in just a second. But first, we're from our sponsor, The Guild. I'm still just going to give it the 1 star. I don't consider it all that likely, but ESPN has kicked it back up into the rumor sphere when they threw out their best trade package, and it involved 2 draft picks going to the Seahawks. I'll make note in the same article, the Chargers actually offered more than the Cowboys did. Of course, it went along with a contract extension. Here was ESPN's trade proposal. Cowboys, of course, get Earl Thomas. Seattle gets a 3rd-round pick for this year and a 2020 4th-round pick. So they get 2 picks, and again, the minimum is a 3rd rounder. Seattle will not take less than that because that's what they'll get as a compensatory selection if Earl Thomas leaves. It's an intriguing trade to me. I am curious what you guys think about it, if you would do that trade if you're the Dallas Cowboys. I think I would strongly consider and probably do it. I'm not sure how I feel about trading away 2 picks, but it is Earl Thomas. I'm a big fan of his. And like I mentioned with the Xavier Woods talk that I kind of created and was yelled at for, but that's okay. Thomas is an impact elite player. I am willing to give up more to get that elite type of player there. So I don't know if Seattle would say yes, but I think the Cowboys would. So I lean toward either a like for or a heart for neither team saying no, or a wow face for the Seahawks. Speaking of trades, did Aqib Talib want a trade to the Dallas Cowboys? I'm going to go ahead and give this one the 2 stars. Yes and no, because the Cowboys didn't really have much interest, and Talib also wanted to trade to other teams. So it's more in that rumor category. He said that there were 3 teams he'd be wanted to be traded to: Cowboys, Broncos, and the Patriots there. And then, of course, he was later traded as well. The Cowboys, though, didn't show any actual interest in a Talib trade because they simply didn't need more players at cornerback, so it was never really going to be an option. So Talib there was your 6th rumor. We got 3 ones left here coming up, but folks, again, subscribe to our new Cowboys Report YouTube channel at chatsports.com/CowboysTV. All of the best Cowboys coverage all in one spot for you. We'll stick with the secondary here. Is it going to be a breakout year for Chidobe Awuzie? I think it is. I'm going to give it 3 stars, and I almost gave it 4, but I think that's a little bit premature at this point. I think he's going to have a big year for the Cowboys. Pro Football Weekly agreed with me. When he's been healthy, Chido has shown some great ability at the cornerback spot. Now, the injuries are the red flag for me, but I think that Awuzie can have a big season for the Cowboys. If he plays all 16 games, I think you can see Awuzie being an actual #1 cornerback for the Cowboys, like everyone hoped Mo Claiborne was going to be. But, of course, injuries kind of ruined that stage with the Cowboys, and he's still having injury issues with the Jets. Stick on defense here. Could Kris Richard be a future head coach? I'm going to give it 3 stars. I think this is pretty likely. There's been quite a bit of buzz around Richard, and he's already interviewed for head coaching jobs in the past. Before the Seahawks said, okay, bye-bye, go away, because they want to overhaul their entire coaching staff, Richard interviewed for the Colts head coaching job. Now, there is something said about having to interview minority coaches. I think that was a big factor in that. But Richard clearly has interest from the NFL. Maybe it's not with the Cowboys, but Rod Marinelli says there's no question he'll be a head coach. I do think Richard gets that gig. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year or the year after that, but down the road, I do think he'll be a head coach. The question is, will it be with the Dallas Cowboys? I know some of you guys want Richard as the next Cowboys head coach, so let me know in the comments section who you guys want. Is it a Lincoln Riley? Is it a John DeFilippo, who I want, the current Minnesota OC? Or do you want Richard or somebody else? Let me know who in the comments section. All right, number 9. Could the Cowboys host the NFL Combine? I'm going to give it 2 stars, firmly in that rumor category. But the Cowboys unveiled, in partnership with others at the Star, their new sports medical facility. And Stephen Jones made a point to mention, hey, this is not the main reason why we built it, but it was a consideration here, potentially getting the Combine to come to Dallas. Now, it's been at Indy since 1987, and a big reason why is because of the medical facilities around Indianapolis and by Lucas Oil Stadium. With this new medical facility at the Star now, the Cowboys can say, hey, NFL, come do it here. The weather's going to be a lot nicer in Dallas in February than it is in Indianapolis. So 2 stars on this one. Keep an eye out for it much further down the road. All right, folks, I'm Tom Downey. Follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney for more Cowboys coverage. If you missed anything on Facebook, including our mailbag, don't worry. We'll play it again here in just a second. But until then, we'll see you next time.